one of the best TV segments of AEW history, I think. And I think you're going to disagree with me, but I don't care. Tony Schiavone in the ring with Regal. And before
No, I'm
Regal,
not going to disagree with you. I'm going to
okay,
have some notes, but
okay,
this
okay.
MJF. Oh,
I took
I'll bury the lead. MJF was phenomenal on this promo.
unbelievable. I mean, I wrote down, I tried to keep up, and I did, but I'm not even going to try to recap what he said. I'm just going to give you the Cole's notes because I won't do it justice. But he basically told a story about how he went for a WWE tryout in when he was 19. So this would have been 7 years ago, and at the Barclays Center, and Regal was there, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and Adam Pearce, three of whom are in AEW right now.
Yes.
And they watched the match, and then Regal says, "I want to talk to you in my office." And so he brings him into the office, and he says, "You know what? You're going to be a superstar. I want to take you into my wing." Blah blah blah. Cut a promo for me. Cuts a 3-minute promo, and he blew Regal away. And he says, "How old are you?" And he says, 19. Regal says, "You're too young." He says, "I need you to go out there, put in some work, send me a promo, send me a match every month. I'll review it. I'll have a look at it. I'll give you some advice." So month in, he sends him a match, gets feedback. It's great. Second month, same thing. Third month, he sends him a match and a promo, and he gets back an email from Regal. Regal basically tells him, "Stop bothering me. I'm a busy guy. You need to make yourself a star. And when you do that, come back and I'll see if I've still got time for you," essentially. Max says, I read this email every day. It motivates me. I'm here to prove you wrong. And, you went out and got yourself fired, and I became the biggest star in the business. Crowd is eating this shit up, and they're cheering for Moxley. Anytime Regal is like in his face and he's smiling, and anytime Regal's going to do anything, they're booing references to Regal. Like, this was amazing. Adine here calls it the best babyface promo of the year. I agree. And it wasn't even the intent, and they still turned it into a heel promo, which is even more amazing. This was very reminiscent of the Punk thing earlier, but better. And he says, like, he brought up 3 guys that Regal put his name on at the time: Claudio, Danielson, and Moxley, who are all in AEW now. So I think there's got to be some work stuff in here, but he says, so he says, so Regal grabs the mic, and initially the crowd boos, and Regal just lays into him, and he's like, "I started doing this when I was 16. I'm getting beat up by grown men. I got blood streaming down my face. We live in a world where you can't do that anymore. So I knew you couldn't do that. I knew you needed to go out there and make a name for yourself, and you did it. But you still haven't grown up. You still hire people to do your dirty work for you. I'm an ODV, original dastardly villain. I don't put my hands on ring announcers like you did with Mr. Schiavone. I will tease them and stuff, but I'm not going to put it on it." He said, "You've had it easy." He said, "You did exactly what I told you to do. You mastered something that I told you need to be good at. I can see how talented you are, but you still haven't shown me anything." And he says, "Don't take shortcuts, make a name for yourself by beating everyone in front of you." He says, "I haven't taken liberties." He said, "If you want to be the devil, show the world." And then he turns his back to him, and MJF puts on his ring, and he's like, he's going to hit him, but then he doesn't want to do it. And then he backs off. Regal turns around, and he just kind of smirks. And then he just shook his head at him, and he says, "You got a lot to prove." And then he walked out, and the crowd was like mixed. They were chanting for MJF. They didn't know what to think of this. And I just thought this was freaking amazing. And then at one point they started chanting for him, and then he just walked up the ramp, and he was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're doing with him, but I'm fascinated. And this can go so many different ways.
You make money with your mouth.
Yeah.
In professional wrestling. I continue to say this, and a lot of people just tell me I'm full of it, but I'm not. No, this was fantastic, and it delved into his real life, and it was great. And it's the villain. It's another villain origin story from MJF, which is always welcome.
Yeah, and they all make sense.
Chapter 2 from the CM Punk, "I met you as a child." Now he's a little bit older. "Hey, I met you in my grow up thing." My only, and this is a minor quibble, I didn't like Regal smiling, and I wasn't sure if that was nerves, because I'll do that sometimes if somebody's yelling at me at times. But it also, from what I've been taught in acting and things like that, it also kind of shows a lack of focus in terms of it felt like he was watching MJF cut the promo as a member of management almost, where it's like, yes, keep going. Yes, keep doing this kind of thing. And it's like, okay, you either have to go big that way or you have to wipe off the smirk and be affected by what MJF is saying to you. Because he then twisted into a very angry promo at MJF, which felt the beat there wasn't there to connect it to, for me at least. Might have been for others, and that's cool. And again, I am not being critical at all of this entire thing because it was fantastic television, and I want more of this kind of stuff on television. But for me, that certain beat right there, when I saw Regal smiling and kind of smirking a bit, when he was smirking, that felt like a no sell a little bit to me.
Is it possible that he was smirking to get MJF even more pissed off so he'd take a shot at him? And he wanted him to take a shot at him, and he wouldn't do it. And when he didn't do it, then it was like, you know what? He said when he didn't hit him, he's like, I'm right. You don't have it. You know what I mean?
There needed to be a line in there, I think, because for me at least, watching this promo and watch MJF just pouring it all out there, it felt a little upstagey. It really did, just a little bit.
Well, when he was smiling the most, and I want to read this because I did take the notes. So this is right after he talks about the email, and he says, that's the email you sent to a 19-year-old kid with a dream. When I read that email, I wanted to quit wrestling and quit my life. That email made me want to kill myself. And at that point, that's when Regal's smiling at him. And they showed the smile, and then the crowd booed Regal and was cheering. Yeah, they're cheering Max. And then he said, if I realized that if I did that, you and all the naysayers would win. And then he said, here we are. The table has turned. You're a sad, withered old man who got fired. And now you've snuck into my company like a rat and sticking to better talents than you. I'm MJF, the 25-year-old kid who's on top of the business. I'm a generational talent. I'm the man who your former employers would take several lives to get me to put pen to paper in the bidding war of 24. I read that email whenever I need a laugh. It's become a joke to me. I'm about to become the AEW champion of the world. My name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I'm better than you, and you know it. Even finished it with his catchphrase.
Yeah, and that was great, as opposed to generational talent. We said that last week on the promo. That's what he should be ending it with, and that was fantastic. I have a letter like that, though, too. From a television producer.
Oh, did you use it as motivation?
I didn't get, well, I did for the first 10 years of my career, and then it didn't come to fruition. I still have that letter. It's the worst thing anybody ever wrote to me. It's just you. Well, I've never been called arrogant by someone, but that was a new one.
Yeah, I freaking love this.
Though. But I loved it. It was just like yes, that was all part of my plan. Was kind of like that Regal smile said to me. I'm just like, no, you need to be taken aback by his rage right now, just a little bit. That's what I kind of wanted.
Well, at first maybe he's like, okay, or the other thing could be like he's happy because you know what, he finally is seeing what he wanted to see. And then when he didn't actually get it,
or he needs to be pointing at his chin saying, hit me, hit me, hit me.
Yeah. Great segment. And if you haven't seen it for some reason, just shut the show off and go watch it.
Yes. Build around MJF now, please.